The tale of Dio Owl and the Twisted Forest. The air smelled of damp earth and old magic, and the sky above stretched like a thick grey quilt, blotting out even the hint of stars. Dio Owl, a young wizard of just 16, was drawn into the mysterious woods that loomed beyond his village. His fingers trembled as he clutched his staff, a slender rod of polished ash wood that seemed to glow softly, casting a silvery light around him. Dio had heard whispers, rumors of strange happenings in these woods. Villagers had vanished, voices carried through the trees, and at times, the very ground seemed to tremble. But nothing could have prepared him for what lay ahead. He took a deep breath and stepped forward, determined to uncover the truth, no matter how terrifying. As Dio ventured deeper, he sensed an unnatural stillness. The trees were twisted into grotesque shapes, their branches clawing at the sky as if pleading for release. Beneath his feet, roots slithered and writhed, a mass of serpentine vines that seemed almost alive. Every step took him closer to something sinister, something ancient and angry. A cold shiver ran down Dio's spine when he saw it. A figure, half hidden in shadows, cloaked in dark robes that seemed to absorb all light. The figure turned slowly, revealing a face shrouded in darkness. Only a pair of gleaming, inhuman eyes pierced through, fixing upon Dio with a gaze that seemed to peel away his courage layer by layer. "Why have you come?" the figure hissed, its voice like the rustling of dry leaves. "Do you seek the curse that binds these woods?" Dio straightened his shoulders, steeling himself. "I'm here, forest, to rid it of the darkness that's taken hold." The figure laughed, a low, guttural sound that echoed through the trees. "You cannot hope to break what was forged in blood and bone. Turn back now, little wizard, before the forest consumes you." But Dio stood firm, his grip tightening on his staff. "I will not leave," he declared. "The village suffers because of this curse, and I will put an end to it." The figure drifted back into the shadows, merging with the darkness until it was nothing but a memory. And yet, as Dio pressed on, the feeling of dread grew stronger. Strange, twisted plants seemed to reach for him, their thorny vines scraping against his cloak, and a chilling wind howled through the branches, whispering secrets that clawed at his mind. As he continued, Dio's steps led him to a clearing where the ground was scorched, and in the center lay a twisted old tree, its bark charred black. There, embedded deep within its gnarled trunk, was a dark, glimmering gemstone, a heartstone, pulsing with sickly green light. Dio knew it was the source of the curse, the anchor binding the darkness to the forest. He approached cautiously, but before he could touch the heartstone, the ground beneath him shifted. Roots sprang from the earth, coiling around his legs and yanking him to his knees. The gemstone pulsed violently as though sensing his intent to destroy it. Dio's heart raced as the roots tightened, cutting into his skin. A voice filled the air, cold and echoing, coming from all around him. It was the same voice as before, the spirit bound to the forest. "The heartstone cannot be broken by mortal hands," it taunted. "Do you think you are stronger than those who came before you?" Dio clenched his jaw, refusing to give in to fear. "I'm not alone," he said, lifting his staff. With a surge of magic, he channeled his energy into the staff, calling upon the ancient spells he had learned. His eyes glowed, matching the fierce light of his staff, as he chanted the words that would sever the curse's hold. The forest responded with a furious roar, the trees bending and thrashing as if in agony. Shadows leapt from the ground, clawing at Dio, tearing at his cloak, but he held his ground. With a final surge of energy, he struck the heartstone with his staff, and a blinding light burst forth, ripping through the darkness. The heartstone cracked, and the curse shattered with it. The twisted trees and malevolent shadows began to fade, dissolving into wisps of smoke that drifted skyward. The roots released Dio, and he fell to his knees, exhausted but victorious. As dawn broke over the forest, he looked around, watching as the trees straightened, the ground softened, and a gentle light filtered through the leaves. The curse had lifted, and the forest was free. Dio rose, breathing in the fresh, untainted air. He had faced the darkness, endured its horrors, and emerged victorious. And as he made his way back to the village, he knew the forest would never hold its curse again. And from that day on, the villagers spoke of Dio Owl, the young wizard who dared to enter the darkest forest and break its ancient curse. They told tales of his bravery, of the twisted trees and the malevolent figure that had tried to hold him back. And every time they passed the edge of the forest, they would pause, remembering the courage it took to confront the horrors within.